Today we do an unboxing of the new starter set of Wild West Exodus from Warcradle. But before we get into today's video, just want to share this last month's GGGG winners. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts, and for this past month of October of 2021, here are the list of people who received GGGGs. Charles E., Daniel W., Dragonwall Chronicles, Kevin O., Nom T., Pixie Frog, Robert G., and Shane R. All were chosen to receive various gratitude gifts. There were Mythic Roll all-in pledges, printed and painted sets, Deco Quest painted and printed tower, along with pledges, Monster Adventure Terrain, $100 to go towards the Elven Lords Kickstarter, and Archon Pets, among many other GGGGs. But I just want to give a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys make this channel what it is, so thank you so much. And for this month of November of 2021, we do have this printed and painted Ruins set from RM Printable Terrain and Miniatures, and it is their current Tempest Hold Kickstarter that is going on right now, and there are going to be 3 all-in digital pledges that will also be part of the GGGGs. There's going to be more added as the month goes along, so check out my link below to go to my Patreon page to see the full list of the gratitude gifts. A while ago, I did a review and how to play video of Warcradle's Mythos, and if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out here. But I've always been impressed by all of Warcradle's miniature line, and sure enough, I'm really looking forward to checking out Wild West Exodus. Now, before I didn't get into it, even though I did look into the game and have actually demoed the game before, and I did like it, but thought that Mythos was a little bit of an easier entry point because it didn't quite have so many different miniatures for each of the factions. So I opted for that a little bit more simpler gameplay than what felt a little bit on the more overwhelming side, because there were so many different factions and options and miniatures that you could get with Wild West Exodus. Well, sure enough, with the new edition, the 3rd edition rulebook that has come out, they have produced this new starter set, which has everything that you need in order to play the game. And I thought this is a great time to get in to Wild West Exodus, as again, I really love their miniatures. I love the lore that's behind it, and I love that they mix up sort of alien technology and steampunk along with Western. So that is totally in line with some of my tastes of mixing different genres together, an alternative history line. So this is something that I've always wanted to get into, and now this is a perfect chance to get in on the new 3rd edition, as well as having a easy starter set where I don't have to try to figure out which factions or which models I want to buy, but it has everything that you need for a 2-player starter set. Warcradle did send this starter set to me, and I do think it's actually available now online, so make sure to check out links provided below if you are interested in grabbing a set for yourself. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. Alright, so this is a Showdown at Retribution starter set. Here on the back you see all of the contents that we're going to find inside, and what I'm most excited about is all of these awesome looking miniatures. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what it actually looks like. And it looks like you actually do get 2 decks, 1 deck for each person, so glad that they include that. All of the bases. You also get dice, really nice Wild West Exodus dice. I mean, I have plenty of D10s, but it's nice to have these specific ones where you have 1s as failures, and then 10s with the Wild West Exodus logo on there. And then here, it looks like you do have some templates, some measuring rulers, as well as an arc. And this is the Blast template, which I actually made a printable version for Mythos, but I think it's actually the same size as that one. And then here are the books, and it looks like there's tokens. So here's a quick start guide, which I think is great, with instructions as well on how to put together the models. Is that what's up front? Yes. So half of it is how to put it together. The other half are the stat cards, which I'm pretty sure is downloadable. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that the rules also are downloadable on their website. So use the links below if you're interested in taking a look at the rule set, as well as I think all of the cards, since they did come out with a 3rd edition, they might have modified all of the stat cards for each of the characters. So I'm not 100% sure since I never played the previous editions, but I'm guessing that since all of these are available online, that they probably did update these. And then here is a campaign booklet, which I really like a lot, that they do provide a campaign because it just gives that narrative hook into all of your gameplay, which is great. And you have the option of a 3x3 or a 4x4, so whatever size you want to go with. So that's pretty cool. And then here is the rule book. And again, this is going to be free online if you want the PDF version, but I like having a physical version, so this is really nice. I'll be reading through this as well to learn the rules. Here are the tokens that we're going to use, and the rest of it is plastic. Now I think these are flight stands for the hover bikes. I'm pretty sure. And then looks like with these sprues, here let me move that out of the way so you can see a little bit better. So I don't even know the names of these characters yet. I'm so new to it all. But I read online that the lore and the backstory is pretty good, and I'll definitely want to look into that because I do like lore. And I do like sort of the world building and imagination that happens with characters. So I'm curious about the background and lore behind Wild West Exodus. And it looks like here, these 3 sprues, I think, are the same. Yes. So you're getting 3 of these sprues. And I did see someone else's video that these are multi-kit sprues, so that you can actually switch up and change up the models the way that you want. Which honestly sometimes stresses me out because, especially in not knowing the characteristics of the models, sometimes I just want someone to tell me, oh yeah, just make it this way as a beginner. But we'll see what kind of variety. And whenever I do have a choice, I do try to make different models, even if it's not WYSIWYG, in terms of what's represented on the field. Just because, in terms of just collecting miniatures, I just like to have variety. And then it looks like these 4 sprues are exactly the same. And so, again, I think this might be the hover bikes. Not 100% sure. But yeah. Details on the models, as usual, looks really good. So let me go ahead and build these 2 armies, these 2 factions up, and I'll show you that. So because these pieces are ball and joint to put on the legs and the arms, it actually takes quite a bit of time, and I like the fact that it's more flexible that way, and you can pose the models a little bit differently, but it does take longer. So here's a trick that JJ, one of my Patreon supporters, taught me last night, is go ahead and put your super glue on one side, and here I put it on the joint here, and then take your accelerant, and instead of spraying it on, go ahead and pull out the cap and just dab on the other side, the piece that you're gluing on, so that you have accelerant on that side. I probably have a little bit too much, so I'm going to wipe a little bit off. And then when you put the two pieces together like this, it bonds instantaneously. Okay, sorry, that took a lot longer than I was anticipating, and I also primed all of my figures black, so it might be hard to see. But this is all of the pieces that were put together with the Enlightened over here to the right and the Union forces here to the left. And gluing this guy to the base with all of these tiny little fragments of electricity also took a while to figure out exactly where to place it so that it would fit on this base. So it was a little bit challenging to get Nikolai onto his base. But for the most part, all of these other figures glued together pretty easily. I did spray prime this with these pieces off, and then I glued them on afterwards just to make sure I got all of the insides black. And I really think these are cool. You can either build them like this or like this. And with all of the different options that you have, I tried to vary it up and build them in as many different ways as possible. So with these guys, you can either make them melee with a shield and with a baton, or ranged with a rifle. And so I made 4 of these guys and then 5 of these riflemen. And then you see the variation between the Union hover bikes and the Enlightened hover bikes. There isn't as much armor on these guys, but these look super cool. I didn't put them on the base because they do come on a clear stick, and I will attach that later once I paint and base. And here are more of the Enlightened. This 2-headed guy looks pretty cool, as well as the main guy here, the boss. And then we have these 2 female characters. This is for the Union. I don't remember her name. And then this is for the Enlightened. She looks like a mechanic, sort of. So I'll be able to try to get all of these painted up and then provide a tutorial video on how to play later on. But we'll need to work on painting all these up. But wanted you to see just what the models look like that comes in this base set, and looks like you're getting plenty of models to be able to play a couple of different scenarios with just the models from the set. And then obviously you could add more on as they have tons of different models. So there you have it. This is what you're going to find in this starter set. I do think it's a really good deal. You're getting 2 fully playable armies just to start off, and all of the components that you need to play this game and to learn to play. I do plan on coming out with a video after I paint all of the miniatures, a how to play video, as well as a quick review. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned, and that should be coming out in a couple of weeks after I have a chance to go ahead and paint everything as well as learn the rules. Until then, thanks so much for watching. Happy gaming. We'll see you next time.